Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Tory Lanez wants $100 million, but the blade was only the beginning. The blade that went deep inside of him. Now, the door that wouldn't open. Let me put you inside the prison for 60 seconds. You're walking through a place where everybody is controlled by somebody else. You don't choose who walks behind you. You don't choose who gets housed near you. You don't choose how fast the gate opens when someone goes wrong or something goes wrong. And then it happens. Not on a home movie, not on a movie set, not in a music video, inside a federal prison where the walls are thick, the floor is hard, and help gotta come through a locked door with a key. Picture this. Tory Lanez says he was stabbed 16 times. He says the weapon hit his back, his torso, his face, and the back of his head. Now imagine trying to breathe while your body is starting to fail you. You're losing oxygen to the brain. Does he see me? Is what Tory's wondering. Does he understand how serious this is? Is the door about to open, or am I about to die? Waiting for someone else's key to turn into the lock to the door that I put myself into by allegedly shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Or am I about to die waiting on someone else's key keep flashing through his mind? Tory survived. Now he wants $100 million. But I'm here to tell you, the money ain't the scariest part. The scariest part is knowing that when you go to prison, your life can come down to how fast a stranger reacts to an emergency. And after the attack is over, your body may leave the floor, but your mind might never leave the moment. Let's get this party started, man. I'm ready to ride. Y'all ready to ride? Let's ride. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the emoji. You gotta put a comment in order to get this message out so the youth can get to it. If you're trying to save yourself, step to the right. If you're not, step to the left. Let's keep it moving. This how we doing at the Mecca. I'm getting ready coming. I'm gonna bring you the jewel. Y'all ready for the jewel? Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. All right, we gonna get to the jewel. The jewel in this is the judge can give you 10 years, but one moment inside can add a sentence that never appears on paper. I want to thank everyone for reporting to class. That means you're trying to better yourself and save yourself, and that's where we're going at with this right now. Put in the comments, this is the time for you to fill out your verdict sheet. Get out your verdict sheet, which is your comment section. I want you to have your comment section ready right now. Could you sleep again after learning that a locked door might be the only thing between you and death? Can you sleep knowing that? Where I want to go with this right now, I want to let you know what's going on with Tory Lanez. All right?
Yeah, Michael Rochelle, we're here live outside of Current Medical Center, where it's believed that actor and rapper Tory Lanez is being treated after being stabbed earlier this morning by another inmate. Now, just breaking news here at 6 o'clock, we actually hear from Tory Lanez on a social media post saying that he was stabbed 14 times, including multiple stab wounds to the back, torso, and to his face and head. He also mentioned that both of his lungs collapsed and was placed on a breathing tube, but has since been breathing on his own. He adds that he's in good spirits despite being in pain, and thanks everyone for their support. Meanwhile, we've learned from officials that the attack happened around 7 in this morning, the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi, according to California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. That prison about an hour away from Bakersfield. Lanez, also known as Daystar Peterson, Eyewitness News has learned that the attack happened around 7:20 a.m.
So we know when the attack happened. We ain't even got to go through that. I want to get right to my story, right? Now, I want to let y'all know that my name is Unique Mecca Audio. I served 26 years in federal prison. I was sentenced to life plus 20 years with no chance of parole. I worked my way through that. So I'm qualified to speak about what this is like because I see many men being stabbed. Let me tell you, let's take a ride. Because I love to take a ride. If y'all like to take a ride with me, put it in the comments if y'all like when I take my rides. Now, this is my first day in Lewisburg, October 17th, 1995. You see, I fluently, I speak this because this is natural. This is real. This is what I experienced. I just walked out onto the compound. As I walked out to the compound, I see all my homies from New York City. I see DC lined up in the side. I see Midwest. I see the Texas Syndicate. I thought Texas was cowboys from the cowboy movies living in New York City. But they actually got Texas Mexicans. And it's a gang, a deadly gang, a violent gang. And then they had the Texas Emmy. The Texas Emmy and the Texas, syndicate, they didn't get along. They made a mistake and they sent somebody out from the Texas Emmy when it was the Texas Syndicate compound. My first day in the BOP in Lewisburg. Look up what I'm saying. Google it. I'm telling you to Google it. Man lost his life October 17th, 1995 in Lewisburg. Man was stabbed. At the time, he might have been alive. So put a man stabbed 1995, October 17th. That's when I walked into the federal prison system. When I walked in, all I heard was boom. It sounded like somebody stomped the floor, like a whole pallet of encyclopedias hit the floor. But it was a body. I looked over, I see the man holding his neck like this. And then he pulled his hand apart and blood went everywhere. And I'm in shock. I'm on the street with pistols. I'm seeing a man with blood coming out of his neck. I'm like, where am I at? My man grabbed me and tackled me through the gate because we was in the red top at Lewisburg. Y'all been in Lewisburg, know what the red top is. My man tackled me, and when I said, yo, what are you doing? He said, yo, if you get caught on that side where the body is at, if you get caught where the body is at, that means you go on the investigation until the suspect is convicted, and that might take 5 years. Man, I had to thank him. But that's the world that I walked into. So I've seen many people get stabbed. They didn't get a dime for it. The compound went back to moving as usual as the blood spill crew came up and cleaned up the blood. If y'all remember what the blood spill crew is in the penitentiary or the prison, I don't care if you're in the state of the feds, you know the blood spill crew that come from medical, they clean up the blood. Put it in the comments. Now, I've seen what happens after the blood is cleaned up, right? I survived 26 years in federal prison, so I ain't talking to you from no news article. You at Unique Mecca Audio, I want to welcome you. I've watched men go from walking the unit fighting for their life in a matter of seconds, so you understand. I've seen men leave with holes in their body and come back with staples holding them together. And you know what happened when they came back? Most of them didn't even get compensated. They didn't get $100 million headline like Tory Lanez did. They didn't get a team of attorneys standing outside the gate saying they want justice and a bag. They got a bed assignment. They got a property bag. They got a new days of healing. And then they got sent back into the same world that almost killed them. Maybe the same building, maybe the same enemies, maybe the same officers they believe didn't move fast enough to save their life. Now, that's the part the public don't see. The floor gets cleaned up. The report gets written. The count still happens. Chow still gets served. And everybody else has to keep moving like a man didn't almost die in front of them. That's the trauma that I experienced today. After 30-something years in the past. And everybody else keep moving, like I said, like a man didn't just almost die in front of them. Prison teaches you how quickly human suffering can become administrative paperwork. And if you don't have money, education, or somebody outside who knows how to fight, your pain can get buried under a case number. Now I'm gonna give you the jewel in that, right? You know, I love to hit my little diamonds at the top because I'm gonna give you all the jewels. In prison, the attack may last seconds. The silence that follows can last years and even a lifetime. Drop your jewel in the comment section. This is your time to place your verdict. How many men do you think left a prison hospital with scars and never received $1? Because I've seen hundreds of them, maybe even thousands over my 26 years. I stopped counting. Now, right, could we ride? Y'all like to ride? What Tory is actually claiming, right? We're gonna talk about what Tory Lanez is actually claiming. Tory Lanez's legal name is Deshaun Patterson. He filed a federal lawsuit seeking $100 million. He's suing the California prison system, the warden, the correction officer connected to the prison where the attack happened. Now, let me explain to you how that works, right? So you understand. When you're in prison, you sue the top Department of Corrections if it's the state, or the federal government, the Department of Justice. And then you sue the warden and you sue everyone that worked for the warden, because they all responsible. Because when you're put in prison, your life is in their hands. They're saying that you're too dangerous for society, and if the taxpayers pay X amount of taxes a year, that they'll take money and allocate it to that of keeping you not only incarcerated, but safe. And Tory's saying they failed them. They failed them. That's what he's saying. Now, his lawsuit alleges that another incarcerated man attacked him with a human homemade weapon. Tory says he was stabbed 16 times. He alleges serious injuries, a collapsed lung, permanent scarring, and emotional damage. You better believe it's emotional damage, because he'll wear that for the rest of his life. He had to be airlifted to a hospital. But his case isn't just saying, I got attacked. His case is saying, you know, or you, the corrections of department in California, you should know or known that I was in danger. His attorneys are questioning the housing decision, but they're gonna respond saying, you know what the hell you got into. We can't watch you 24 hours a day. You pissed that man off. You pissed him off so bad that he decided to give you 16 poke holes. Now you go back, lay down, and you lick your own wounds like a dog licking his nuts. Because that's how little we care about you. It's how they wanted to respond. His attorney, like I said, they're asking questions about the housing decision. They're questioning what officials knew about the alleged attacker. Meaning, did they know his history, that he was capable of attacking another man? Did they know his history, that he was in jail for allegedly, we didn't even know he was convicted for having sex with a minor? Well, if they did, why did they have them around my client that only bust the cap in the chick's foot? You know, that's what the lawyer wanted to say, but, you know, he kept it 100, you know. That only discharged the firearm. No, he bust the cap in Megan Thee Stallion's foot, like in Harlem Nights, allegedly. Now, they're questioning how long it took for the staff to respond, is what his lawyer is saying, right? They're questioning whether Tory's fame made him a clear target and should the Department of Corrections known that. And they're saying the state failed to protect a man whose movement the safety completely controlled. The state was supposed to safely control his movement. They have not yet been proven in court, right? Asking for $100 million doesn't mean he'll receive it. But the lawsuit forces a question the system doesn't like answering. What happens when the people with the keys know there's danger and somebody still gets hurt? That's what Tory Lanez is challenging, that many men over my 26 and a half years in federal prison didn't have the finances or resources to have a lawyer to explore these avenues. So Tory is setting what they call legal precedent. Now let me get into the fuel. Let's go. A prison can't control every human being. But when it controls every door, every bed, and every movement, it can't act like it has no responsibility. Did the state simply house Tory, or did it place him inside a danger it should have been seen coming? Now, right? Now, this is where y'all, we're gonna take this route. We gotta take this route. We gotta take this route. We gotta take this route. This is what I call over at Unique Mecca Audio the dark psychological cell, right? So I'm gonna take you into the first psychological cell, waiting for the next attack. Let's go past the hospital pictures. Let's go past the lawsuit number. Let's talk about what happens when Tory comes and closes eyes at night. Because when a man gets attacked like that, he doesn't just remember what happened. His body starts expecting it to happen again. A footsteps sound different. A man walking too close feels different. A whisper at the end of the tear feels different. Are they plotting against me? Somebody reaching into his waistband feels different, and he might have just been tucking his t-shirt. A door opening behind him feels different. Somebody may have just been entering the room. Now, every movement gets measured and amplified. Who's looking? Who's too quiet? Who changes routine? Who's been watching when I go to chow? Who's been asking, what unit am I on? That's how the mind starts locking itself up. You may be standing in the middle of a crowd, but mentally you're back on the floor. You're waiting for the first hit, the first puncture wound from that knife piercing your skin, going through the white meat, waking you up that you violated someone in their mind. You're waiting for the sound of running feet, which is the police responding to what they call in prison the deuces when they hit the little orange button on the walkie-talkie. You see how vividly I remember that? Because I'm traumatized, and I don't want you to go through what I went through to be traumatized, so I'm trying to save your life. So if you like what's going on, hit the like button, hit the emoji, put a comment, and hit the hype button. I got the 100,000 subscribers. They don't care about none of that. They don't want this message out. They want you staying to the left and listening to the foolery. But we don't do that at the Mecca. Not my viewers. So hit that like button to subscribe, and there go the Cash App at the top. Make sure you hit the icon that says was created 2020 if you want to donate to the cause. Now, like I said, You're waiting on the first hit, first running feed. You know, you're waiting for the officer to make a decision that may determine whether you live or die. That ain't paranoia when the threat already happened once. That's your body trying to keep you alive. But the same instinct that protects you can also torture you, because now there's no safe corner, because your mind is running rampant on survival mode. There's no casual conversation. There's no relaxed walk. There's only the next possibility. Let's take a mother effing ride. I want to ride right now. I got a homie that was hit up 10 times. I was hit up 4 times. He looked at me and said, dog, you was only hit up 4 times. That ain't nothing. Try adding 6 to that. He said, I'm paranoid. When I go out, I can't go anywhere without my gun on my waist because I feel that I'm naked and I have to be ready to protect myself. And if that means taking another man's life, that's what it is. I said, you're only 22. I'm 62. How you thinking like this at this age? He said, you know what it felt like to get 4 hot ones? I said, hell yeah. He said, well, could you imagine getting 6 plus that 4? I said, keep toting, brother, keep toting. Whatever makes you comfortable. Round of applause to the brother that's surviving. Round of applause to the brother that's surviving. Relax, y'all, relax. Relax, relax, relax. Let me give y'all the jewel, man. Y'all ain't ready for this today, man. Make sure y'all share this video and hit the like, the hype, put a comment, because that's the only way the word is going to get out. So I don't want to hear all in the comment, this should be in every school, it should be in every youth, all the kids should hear this. Well, make them hear it by hit the like, the comment, the emoji, and definitely the hype. Let's keep it moving. Now, the weapon may have left his body, meaning when they pulled that cold steel out of his body. But the possibility of another weapon can live inside his head every minute of every day for the rest of his life. Now, I want to thank y'all for reporting to class. I'm glad you got your comment pad open. Put your comments in. What's worse, the attack that happened or living every day like it's about to happen? If y'all can't respond to that, I don't know. Y'all need to go somewhere else. Maybe I'm wasting my time, man. Now, and this is only the first cell. The second one doesn't open at night, right? The state took his freedom. Did it also assume his safety? Because the state's saying we ain't responsible for him. He went out there, did what he had to do, got in trouble and pissed off somebody that wanted to get him. So what, the kid was alleged chomo or, you know what I mean, he was doing life or whatever. He pissed him off. Now, this is what the system is saying. When the court sends a person to prison, the state takes control. It tells him when to wake up, when to eat, when to shower, when to move, where to sleep, which yard to walk, which building to return to, and who can he be housed near. That level of control creates a duty, and that's what his lawyer is saying, that they had a duty to protect them and know who they were sending them around. The court sentenced Tory to 10 years. The court didn't sentence him to 16 stab wounds. It didn't sentence him to a collapsed lungs. It didn't sentence him to be airlifted from a prison yard. And it didn't sentence him to spend every night wondering whether somebody else is coming. Now, let me be fair, right? No person can guarantee that violence would never happen. Prisons are filled with high-risk people, old conflicts, fear, anger, and depression. But the question isn't whether prison is dangerous. The question is, did somebody know this particular danger was coming? Did Tory report a threat? Because you know that'll be considered ratting. If he said, I fear for my life because this alleged chomo getting ready to make a move on me. Did the institution have the information? Did the housing decision ignore an obvious risk? Did officers respond the way they were trained to respond on time, that's what the court will have to examine. Not fan emotion, not heated, not hated, not whether you like Tory or not. The court is going to examine the records, the cameras, the staff reports, the medical evidence, the housing files, and the timeline of every second that passed. Now, I feel like riding, because I said it twice, and I like to teach the class to make sure the class is here and they're paying attention, to make sure you're taking notes, so put this down in your notes. When I say airlifted, that means that the damage is so severe that if they put you in an ambulance, you might not live to make it to the hospital. So they have to take you in a helicopter by air to get you there ASAP. That means you're on your last survival breath. And the jewel in that is, when the state controls your location, your movement, and your access to safety, its responsibility can't disappear the moment danger arrives. Now, again, I thank you for reporting to class. This is your hood professor, Unique Mecca Audio, and I need you to drop your verdict in the comments, because we have to keep the comments popping. Should the state pay when it fails to protect a person it forced to remain in that location? Meaning Tory couldn't leave that location. They told him he had to stay there in that prison. So should the state pay because it failed, or did it fail to protect Tory Lanez? Or did it, being that it forced him to stay there by assigning him there? Now, fame didn't stop the attack. It may change the aftermath. Here's the part that's gonna make people uncomfortable. And I know y'all looking for a reason to hate on Unique Mecca Audio, right? Now, I know men who got stabbed more than once. Men who had no music career, no celebrity friends, no massive following, no money for federal litigation. They were hurt too. They was also stabbed, some more than 16 times. They believed the system failed them, but they had no real recourse. They didn't know how to exhaust the grievance process. They didn't know how to preserve evidence. They didn't know which deadline could destroy their case. They couldn't afford a lawyer to investigate what happened. Some of them couldn't write a legal complaint that a court would accept or understand. So their case ended before it ever started. Not because their pain wasn't real, but because they didn't have access. Tory's fame didn't protect his body. The weapon didn't care how many records he sold, but fame can help after the attack. Fame brings attention. Attention brings pressure. Pressure brings lawyers. Lawyers bring subpoenas, experts, investigators, and what they call them, depositions. The poor prisoner has a scar. The famous prisoner has a litigation team that could explain what the scar is worth. And Tory feels it's worth $100 million. That's the hard, cold truth. Now, money may not stop the weapon, but money can decide whether the wound will ever heal. Let me hear your verdict in the comments. Is Tory's lawsuit a sign that justice works, or proof that justice works better when you could afford it? Put that in the comments and let me know. Let's ride. I feel like riding. I feel like, all right, I just felt like throwing that on real quick, wake you up. Now, let's talk about the second psychological cell. When the night becomes Tory Lanez's enemy. Sit close and listen to what I'm getting ready to say. I'm getting ready to scare the crap out of you. This is what I'm still dealing with today as a free man after being locked up 26 and a half years. The first psychological cell is fear of another attack. The second one starts when the unit gets quiet at night, or when I lay down in my bed and everyone in the house is asleep. During the day, Tory can move. I can move around, go to New York, go where I want to go. He can speak to his lawyers. I can speak to my friends. He can call home. I could call the homies. He can tell people he's recovering. And I can tell everybody I'm all right, I'm good. He can put strength in his voice so his family doesn't panic. But then the cell, or should I say the call ends. The cell door closes, the lights dim, the tears get quiet. And now there ain't no crowd to perform for. That's when the memory gets loud. Did somebody set me up, is what he's thinking. Did staff know that I was gonna be stabbed up? Was somebody watching my movements the whole time? Is there another person waiting to finish what this crazy started? Can I trust the man in the cell with me? Can I trust the officer doing the rounds and the head count? Can I trust the door to open if something happens again? That's what prison does. It can make grown men afraid of silence, because silence gives the mind room to replay everything over and over again. The first impact when that cold steel first touched Tory's skin and pierced it, maneuvering its way down to the white meat. The loss of breath where he couldn't breathe and he's gagging for air, feeling like a fish out of water, rolling around on the cold concrete prison floor. The confusion with people running, going to get ice because they don't want to get caught up, like how I had to get pushed off the red top in Lewisburg in October 17, 1995. See, this is how I learned to survive. And the people around him were surviving by getting the hell away from the victim. Like I said, the sound of people running, the fear that the help might be too late. Tory laying on the ground thinking, man, by the time they come, I'll be dead, or this dude would have been done, killed me. And then the most dangerous thought, I'm still locked inside the same system that failed to stop me getting up. That thought can destroy rest when you try and sleep at night. Even while I'm free, these thoughts disturb my rest. Follow me at Instagram. That's why my Cash App is on the screen. I need mental help. I need therapy. We all need therapy after being in prison. Make sure you hit the icon on the Cash App that's on the screen right now when it says the account was created in 2020. Now, that's the thought that destroys rest, right? It can make a man wake up sweating before anything even happens. You know what it's like when let me take you on a ride. We got to take you on a ride right now, right? When I wake up some nights, my t-shirt, the same t-shirt that I'm wearing, just a regular t-shirt, I'm sweating so much that I feel like I'm drowning. I take my shirt off, and before I hang it up in the bathroom, I wring it out. And about a quart of water come out that shirt from the perspiration that escaped my body from the torture that I've been through. So if you youngins want to experience this, keep doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. I served 26 years in federal prison, 5 years in 80X Supermax with Untitled Chapter. Now, I was one of the first prisoners in there. Google it and look it up. I'm telling you from experience, there's a dark side you don't want. And I don't want you there. I'm wringing out my shirt with a quart of water coming out my shirt. My kids looking at me like, Daddy, are you all right? And I'm just sweating a little bit. To me, it's nothing because it's the norm. It was only a quart. Sometimes it's 2 quarts of water leaving my body from the trauma. Now, it can make a man, like I said, wake up sweating, man, before anything even happens. It can make every night feel like a countdown to when you lose your mind, or you stop breathing, or you get attacked again, or you get locked up again. You remember, let's take a ride. I feel like riding. I've been on here, oh my God, I've been on here 35 minutes. Yo, I'm sorry, class, for holding y'all after class like this, but if you want to leave, please feel free to leave. But if you want these jewels, stick around. I'm getting ready to blow your mind. You remember the Khalif Browder story where they locked up the 16-year-old because they said that he stole a knapsack, went in jail for 3 years. They beat him up, kept him in solitary confinement to grow from 16 to 19. By the time he turned 19, he got out, went home, and then wound up catching another case because they arrested him for riding a bike. And then next thing you know, they told him that he was looking at going back in jail. And then he put his sheets around his neck in his mama's house and jumped out the window and hung himself. That's trauma. That exists. That's what you call the countdown. And money can't turn that off. It can make everything feel like a countdown. No amount of money couldn't have saved that boy's life. $100 million can't buy back the first night that he felt that he was safe. There are cells made of concrete and there are cells made of memory. Which one do you think hurt the most or torture you the most? The second one can follow you after the gate opens. That's the memories. Now, I want to thank you again for reporting to class. Now, put it in the comments. Give me your verdict. How much money would it take for you to feel safe again in a place where you almost died? Now, we ride. I feel good. I feel good. Don't confuse human rights with excusing his case. Let's get that straight. Now, let me make something clear. Defending Tory's right to be safe in prison doesn't erase why he's there. Tory is serving a 10-year sentence after being convicted in the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. Megan suffered. She faced a public trial. She faced ridicule. She faced people calling her a liar. Accountability doesn't disappear because Tory was later attacked in prison. Two things can be true. Tory can be responsible for the conduct that sent him to prison, and the prison can still be responsible for failing to protect him if the evidence proves it. This ain't about turning him into a hero. This ain't about celebrating what happened. Prison violence ain't extra justice. Meaning just because you're in prison don't mean that they can punish you even more now. Now, a blade ain't an extension of the judge's sentence. A collapsed lung ain't part of the commitment order. When people say he's in prison, so anything goes, they're not talking about accountability. They're talking about abandoning humanity. And once you give a prison system permission to abandon humanity, it won't only hurt the person you dislike. Accountability means serving the sentence. It doesn't mean the system gets to add blood, terror, and trauma to the judge's order. I want you to drop a jewel in the comment and give me a verdict. Can you hold Tory accountable and still say the prison had a duty to keep him safe? $100 million is what Tory's asking for, right? What is a wound worth? What is you getting stabbed in prison worth? Tory is asking for $100 million. People are gonna break that number down like each wound has a price tag. 16 wounds, more than $16 million per wound if you divide it into straight numbers. But that ain't how damages really work. He's claiming the total cost, the medical damage, the permanent scars, the pain, the emotional trauma, the fear, the alleged failure to protect him in the future. Effect on what could happen to him mentally. But here's my problem. If Tory's wound is worth millions, what was the poor man's wounds worth? What was the man that I saw stabbed 36 times worth? The man who got cut and never saw a lawyer. The man who filed a grievance that never went anywhere. The man who came home and still couldn't sleep when somebody walked behind him. Was his pain smaller? Or was his voice just quieter? That's why this case is bigger than Tory. If the court takes his allegations seriously, good. But that same seriousness should exist for every prisoner, not just the ones with a famous name. Now, the jewel in that is the value of a human life shouldn't increase because the public recognizes the face. Let me hear your verdict. Put it in the comments. Is 100 million a fair demand from Tory? Or a number big enough to force the public to look at the problem it usually ignores from all my comrades that didn't have a voice, but they didn't have a bag? The money is the headline. The fear is the story. The warning to the youth, fine. Let me warn the youth. Prison is real. Young people are gonna hear $100 million and think Tory might get paid. I need you to hear something else. Before the lawsuit, there was 16 wounds. Before the attorneys, there was a man trying to breathe. Before the headlines, there was a locked door. Before the money, there was fear. Don't let the dollar amount make this look like a win. There is no win in almost dying inside of a prison. There's no win in calling your family after an attack and trying to sound strong so your mother doesn't break on the other end of the phone. There is no win in going to sleep wondering if somebody else knows your routine. The streets show you the jewelry. They show you the cars. They show you the crowd. They show you the people yelling your name. They don't show you the prison hospital like I'm showing it to you. They don't show you the homemade weapon. They don't show you the officer trying to get a gate open. They don't show you the night afterwards. But I can tell you about that at Unique Mecca Audio because I've been there, I lived through it. They don't show you the darkness when your mind start asking if you're still a target. I did 26 years in prison. I know what it feels like when you can't control the door. I know what it feels like when you can't control the people around you. I know what it feels like when the world outside keeps moving while you're trapped inside the consequences. And I'm telling every young person, don't make a decision that puts your life in the hands of a prison system. Don't cast, or should I say, don't chase a reputation that can leave you lying on the concrete, waiting on the key to open the door to save your life that another man has control of. The streets are real, but the prison is realer. And it ain't worth it. Now, let's get it drilling now. I'm sorry, class. We had 45 minutes. I'm so sorry. But sit your ass back and let's get this juice. Now, the street may make you feel powerful for a moment. Prison can spend years teaching you how powerless you really are. I want to thank you again for reporting to class and having your comments open. What do the youth need to fare home? The sentence or everything that can happen while they're serving it. Now, let's talk about the final verdict, man. That's what I want to talk about. I'm ready to get up out of here. I done kept y'all after class long enough. The man nobody hears about. Tory Lanez would get his day in court. His attorneys will ask questions. They will demand records. They will study cameras. They will examine every second of the response. How soon or how late, how long it took the officers to report to the scene of the crime. The state will defend itself and the court will decide what can be proven. But I don't want the story to end with Tory. I want you to think about the unknown man who got stabbed and never got hurt. The man who came back from the hospital with fear in his eyes. The man who rode home and told his mother he was fine when he wasn't. The man who couldn't afford to fight the system. The man whose scars never became evidence. The man whose pain never became a headline. Tory's case may expose a real failure. But the true test is whether the system only changes for a celebrity. Because if safety only arrives when cameras are watching, that ain't safety. That's public relations. And if justice only moves when a prisoner has money and power, that ain't equal justice. That's access disguised as fairness. Now, cause we riding. Now, the scariest part of prison ain't only when the men locked inside. It's knowing the people with the keys may be the only ones who can save you. And you don't control how fast they move. Let me hear your final verdict. Should Tory Lanez receive $100 million for this lawsuit of getting stabbed 16 times and alleging that the stab failed him? Or should this case force California to prove it protects the prisoners who don't have money, fame, or a microphone? Now, let me ask you these 10 questions and we out of here. We're gonna ride into the question with All right, we back. Is Tory Lanez really entitled to $100 million? Put that in the comment. Answer, he is entitled to present his case. The amount he receives, if anything, will depend on what is proven. Should the prison be liable just because an attack happened? Y'all put that in the comments. Liability usually depends on whether officials knew of a serious risk and failed to respond responsibly. Did Tory's fame make him a more obvious target, in your opinion? It may have. Fame can create attention, resentment, emotion, risk, and status-seeking threats. Would an unknown prisoner get the same legal attention that Tory's getting? I know from experience, most likely not. That unusual access is one of the strongest issues inside this story. Can Tory be wrong in his original case and right in his lawsuit? Yes, Accountability for one act doesn't remove a prisoner's right to responsible protection. Is prison violence part of the sentence? You get sentenced to prison, whatever violence comes to you, is that part of the sentence? No. The lawsuit punishment is the loss of freedom, not assault by another prisoner. Is $100 million too much to give, Corey? It is a massive demand, but the demand is not an award, and the final amount depends on proof. What is worth the physical wounds or the fear afterwards? The answer to that: the wounds may heal. The fear can follow a person into every room for the rest of his life. Does money make a prisoner safer? Put that in the comments. Answer: not always during the attack, but afterwards, money can buy better legal representation, investigation, and public attention. Last and final question, then we out of here. We almost been on here an hour. I'm sorry, class. What is the biggest lesson for the youth? Don't focus on the lawsuit. Focus on the locked door, the loss of control, the fear, and the fact that prison can add consequences the judge never mentioned. The streets are real, but prison is realer, and it ain't worth it. So just know that I told you this at Unique Mecca Audio, man. See, I'll wait till the end. I won't even promote it. Cop the book of Roaring Harlem at roaringharlem.com. You want to know who I am and the psychological trauma that had me waking up in the middle of the night, dripping a quart of sweat from perspiration. Now, I'm going to show you why I do what I do. I'm going to show you a young lady that I ran across, and I'm going to show you my man Murder Moot that I met since I've been home, but I know his father, grew up with his father, and it's funny, you know, he's a kid, so I don't know him, but I remember him with his pops. Let's run this back. All right, let's see where we at. Right, hold on. Let's take this over here, Rob. So, it's where we at.
Hi. I watch Unique Mecca's YouTube, and it's amazing. Like, his whole story is so nostalgic. It's so, like, Harlem. It's so, like, 1980s. It's so 1999. I've been watching his channel for about 2 years, and it's very informative, and it's real. You know, you don't really get the real deal from everybody, but with him, you definitely going to get the whole real story. This is a Harlem legend, kingpin, legendary. I'm so happy to just even meet him and be in his presence. Like, his channel is very informal, and if you subscribe, you're going to be just like me, a fan.
All right.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Moot, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique, you know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, you know, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, you know, if, you know, shit be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe, and it just took my mind way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like, you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Call him.
I just want to give a shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. He is so dope. I had the experience of actually meeting him in person. I've been a fan for 2 years, watching his story and watching his videos on YouTube. He is the bomb.com. Harlem legendary kingpin, real official. As soon as I sat down by him, I knew like it was like a different energy, a different vibe. But then once I hear his voice, I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1,000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
What you got from the
I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1,000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
What you got from the channel?
History, how hard it is to be in jail, the right and wrong moves to make when you outside, how one wrong move will cost you a whole lot, to be better, to do better, a lot of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff from his channel. You know, it's very informal, and you know, whatever that means to you, you'll definitely take a piece with you. Like this is a good YouTube channel, honestly.
Tell them who you on, where they can find you.
Okay, I'm Cora. You can find me at Instagram on Why Hate on Her, and yeah.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, Heat back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. They be horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.